And welcome back. Today we are going to be looking at the new Jaguar E, and I'm going to be directly comparing it to the Jaguar A that we already have in the game right now. First off, the payloads. Take a quick look at this. Nothing changes and you already know what that means. If I open the payload option screen, they are still the same. Now, you might think, well, you might get a new camo, right? And yes, you are correct, you do get a new camo, you even get a second new camo. But if you are flying the Jaguar, God forbid you actually like flying the Jaguar if you hate yourself that much. I mean, you already have one right here. You have one with a lot of camos already. Now, if you really like the camo on the Jaguar E, maybe you like being able to get pilot sniped twice and being able to fly around, all power to you. But in general, it is the exact same as the Jaguar. It's a little bit heavier, but I mean, the model in the backseat is not really going to change your flight performance all that much. But yeah, identical planes basically. You fly them the exact same way. If you really feel like you don't have any planes in this tech tree and you really hate yourself, feel free to buy the Jaguar E. It's not a premium. You're not going to get the premium bonus, so you are effectively only going to be able to grind rank 5, 6 and 7. So I never thought I would actually say this in my life, but the Milan would be a better purchase. Yeah, I want to get this out of my face right now and let's get right into the gameplay. But before that, thank you to all my patrons and to everyone looking to buy anything from the Guardian store right now. Feel free to use the discount link down below. No decal just yet, it's almost done. Just stay tuned until I release it. And one more small thing, it also doesn't have RWR. Your model probably ate it and that's why she's so overweight. This plane, it's not the fastest, it's not the best accelerating, it doesn't have the best guns, it doesn't have the best turn rate and it doesn't have the best energy retention. This plane is extremely mid. It is very mediocre. It is not bad per se, but it's kind of bad. The magics do make up for it. Still probably the best missiles you will find at this BR, especially at 10.3. I mean, the magics are good even at 11.3. So that's gonna be your main armament. You want to get behind people, you want to sling those missiles off. Very often you shoot those missiles, they flare it, and it's just gonna go straight through. And they will end up dying. The missiles are extremely fast, they turn extremely well, they have pretty decent range. And that does kind of counter the fact that your guns are the exact opposite. They're slow, they don't have any range, and they don't do that much damage. But if you get behind someone, they don't drop flares, or they don't drop enough of them. I mean, look at that missile, it's going absolutely wild. And that's the joy of flying this thing. So first off, at the start of the match, you are going to be fighting some fighters. And then the A-10s will be lurking in the background and there will be like 5 of them grouped together. And this is the annoying part of this BR. You are mostly fighting Su-25s and A-10s. And you can very easily lick those all up. The issue is that there's mostly like 2 or 3 next to each other. And they start like converging on you, they start shooting missiles from every angle. And it starts becoming pretty damn annoying. However, you are pretty fast and you can come in from behind, and if they aren't really paying attention, and they mostly aren't, you can just swipe them all up. But you'll see that soon enough here. So we lock up this F5, he's going to be going for someone else, and I see he shoots a missile, we just take the missile down with him and he basically gets hit by 2. F5C, definitely your main threat. You want to get those out of the match as quickly as you can. So if you see one distracted, launch a magic at him, get him out of the match, make him return to the hangar, and you can breathe a little bit easier. Second guy here is a T2. He doesn't have flares, he's engaging someone right now, so I'm gonna try and help out the Harrier. Unfortunately, he just misses him. I'm waiting a little bit to be sure that it doesn't go for the flame of the Harrier. It doesn't. T2 is not gonna be dodging a magic anytime soon. So now, I took out the 2 most important targets that I can run into. I mean, the T2 is basically you but better. It does have worse missiles, but the flight performance is a little bit better. And the gun, the Vulcan, is much better than these Aidens. However, you only get 500 rounds opposed to like 750 that the Mitsubishi F1 gets. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. Do you want flares? Because they definitely save this vehicle. The F1 as well as the T2 are kind of dead in the water right now, because they play very much like an F104. Except you don't really have the redeeming qualities of one. You don't hold your speed that well, you don't have insane acceleration. And I mean, the F104 is just better. It's also at a higher BR. And this is what I meant earlier. You get behind A-10s and it doesn't really matter if they see you, because this guy does see me, but he's just too slow to really dodge. So I shoot him down and I start looking in front of me. There's 2 more A-10s flying in formation, so I'll make sure to send them back to the hangar in formation as well. Both of them get shot down. There you have it, 3 kills in like 10 seconds, 8 ends. And that's already game, and of course that's a game that actually goes as planned, and you really want to make sure that your first 2 shots, basically your 2 magics, are on targets that actually matter. You don't want to waste these things on something like an SU-25 that's very clearly flaring. I might do that later on here, but that's, with it a little bit of context, it makes more sense. So you want to make sure that you open well, that you don't have good planes left in the late state of the game. You are not going to be winning versus many vehicles if they are actually paying attention to you. If you are on the 6 of someone, sure, it's pretty hard to reverse this thing because it loses so much speed so quickly. It pulls pretty hard, there's pretty good AOA, but you're not a MiG-21. You are going to be out of energy, and you might have your mother in the background, but she ate all the calories and now you are out of energy. So it's kind of annoying, so keep that in mind. Don't dump too much energy. And here I'm locking up the SU-25, but I'm gaining so much distance on him, or so much meters on him, let's put it. I've completely lost for it. You're seeing I'm catching him pretty quickly. There we go. I start shooting, he's just rolling around, and then the second I hit him, he rips his wing off. So I end up getting absolutely dick out for that. But it doesn't matter, at least he's out of the match. And we are gonna go straight onwards to the A5, because that guy is gonna be extremely annoying to fight, because he will keep his energy quite well. So he's gonna be my main target right here. SU-25 next to him. I will deal with him once the time comes. I notice that he's very slow. I'm not even gonna use my missile on him. I was just priming it in case he was gonna try to fly away, and I maybe had to break off to go for the SU-25. No such thing. So I'm able to break off. I'm gonna shoot a missile at the SU-25. Right now he's busy bombing. And because of that, I'm just gonna shoot a missile at him, get him out of the match, so I don't have to worry about him anymore. So he's gone, we are gonna be turning around, and now the real fight actually starts. You have like 3 or 4 SU-25s in the mix, 2 or 3 MiG-21s, and a MiG-19. The MiG-19, definitely very painful, and the MiG-21s are basically you but better. The faster, they accelerate better, arguably a better gun. Sure, they don't have flares, not all of them, and not all of them have good missiles. I see the MiG-19 going vertical, prime target. I know he can't flare it, he's way too slow. Gonna shoot a magic at him, he's dead, and I can now focus on someone else. So I'm gonna go head on with a MiG-21 here. I'm gonna pull in, try to shoot him down, but I just miss him. Kind of unlucky. That probably would have changed the outcome of the game quite substantially. See a missile going out on the MiG-21, but it misses. And now I need to reset. I need to start going straight. I'm only going Mach 0.8 and have a MiG-21 chasing me. And I don't really mind dogfighting one MiG-21. The problem is there's also probably gonna be like 1 or 2 that's gonna break off and come for me. Not this time, however. Everyone breaks off. I'm going to get a little bit of room. I notice that SU-25 die on my back. And then I'm instantly going to turn in. I have some room now. I need to take my opportunity right now, because the MiG-21 will eventually catch me. And if he gets too close, I won't be able to actually shoot him down. I'm slower than him. I will lose more speed. I will lose it very easily. So I instantly reverse him. He is now crit, and there's an SU-25 coming in. But I need to kill this guy, because I don't want him to RTB. So I'm gonna go head on, I dodge prematurely, and he one-shots my cables. Very unlucky, but SU-25 with 4 gun ports, there's just so many rounds going down range that you don't really have the ability to dodge it if you're not fast enough. I probably should have dodged even sooner, but then you get the other risk that, well, you guessed it, he's gonna be able to pull right back in. Notice the SU-25, he's busy with someone else, and I want to go for the guy above me, so I'm gonna shoot a missile this time. So yes, bit of a waste of a magic, but at the end of the day, I knew that was going to hit, and I wanted to focus on this guy. So currently, he's flying straight. I'm just going to shoot it off. It doesn't actually pull in, and then he flares it. A little bit unlucky. I think of bad lines. I think it was a little bit of desync, because I think I pulled it enough. If I didn't, so be it. I'll just have to deal with my consequences. This is the reality of it. I'll just have to live with it. So I'm going for the SU-25 here. I'm getting on its 6, but I'm noticing the other one pulling in. And I can't really chase him because I'm going to allow the other one on my 6. I'm going to try to get a shot in. Don't manage to get anything. Start pre-firing for the A10. Miss my shots. Go around his guns. We're going to dive out. And I want to get the hell out of here. Dump my flares. Start diving. I know this SU-25 will not be able to catch me. But he has missiles. R60Ms don't care about flares as much as normal ones, as you can see. And now I just need to level out and get away from him. I just need to make sure that I dodge his gun and don't fly straight for too long. Because, well, it's still that GSH 30-2. Hits extremely hard. But now I have 3 Su-25s on my ass, an A10, and there's also 2 more guys on the other side of the map. So this is a little bit rough right now. So I'm gonna be flying away, see if I can get 1 or 2 to start go ground pounding, because I'm not gonna start dogfighting 4 guys at once when they all have all aspect missiles. And then 2 guys die to, well, 1 dies to a random Gepard in the middle of the map. Quite hilarious, quite bullshit, but you know, it is what it is. And then the F-80 kills the MiG-19 PT. So now it's starting to look a lot better. Su-25 goes head on with the F-8. F-8 dodges, luckily. And then the F-8, he full commits an A-10. I do not understand the thought process of these people. But, you know, it is what it is. He at least took the A-10 down. So now I'll have to deal with 3 Su-25s. As well as a MiG-23 DN that's somewhere on the map. It's the 9.7 one without flares. I noticed one of them pulling in. A-10 doesn't look to be doing too well. And then the Su-25 turns a little bit of the Syrian lead turn bullshit. He turns in front of me. And you don't want to get this thing on your 6 like this. I'm just hitting him. I'm shooting all around him. These guns blow absolute dick. Look at this damage. Look at this damage. I mean, the steel is gone, but I'll still need to pull back in to actually finish him off. And I'm lucky that he broke off from the pack. He made it so that there's a number down. That furball of 3 guys is now a furball of 2 people. And one of them is going for the bombing point. So he splits himself up too. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If those 3 guys stuck together, or even 2 of those stuck together, the video would have been done right here. I would have had to run away the entire match basically. Get nothing done at all. And then, well, I lose on tickets or something like that. Luckily, they're all breaking off. They're all flying alone basically until the last 2 guys. But you'll see that in a minute here. So we are going to pitch up for the Su-25. I was trying to get behind him, but he's actually so slow that he is not able to pull in for the head-on. So I'm just going to full send it, get a shot off. He turns into a frisbee and I am going to be breaking off and we are heading back to the airfield. I want to get my magics back. I want to get my ammo back. And I want to make sure that I am topped off on fuel. He bails out, he crashes. And we find the MiG-23. We also activate an order so they can't blind hunt me. So I can kind of sneak up on them. He pulls head on. A little bit inopportune. If I was a little bit quicker, I might have been able to get behind him as he was bombing. Would have been an easy kill. But now I'm too slow. And I'm going to be chasing this guy because I have a feeling he's going to lead me right back to the Su-25. And I don't really have a choice here. I can break off and let these guys get their positioning back. But I'd rather start in a head-on. And then start with both of them on my 6. Would be a little bit unlucky. So we are chasing. I start to look for a dot. And I have a feeling it's going to be right ahead of us. You're going to start seeing a speck here in a second. I believe. Yeah, he's much faster. The MiG-23 BN is a very much superior plane to this thing at 9.7. Now of course it doesn't have flares. And it doesn't have good missiles. It doesn't have missiles at all actually. But in a 1v1 like this, he has the advantage. But sure, in a normal match, I'd rather be in this thing. I'm going to try to get a lock on frontally, but he actually cut his afterburner. So I'm not able to do so. And now I'm going to get both of them on my 6. Su-25 is very rough to have in your 6. MiG-23 BN is also very rough to have in your 6. So I'm going to let this guy turn once more, just trying to bleed as much speed as possible. And I don't really have an option right here. Then try to extend away from the Su-25 as much as possible. Eventually the MiG-23 will catch me. That's not my concern here. Well, it kinda is. But it's not my main concern here. I'm trying to get the Su-25 to get off me. He has a limited fuel. Very limited fuel, unless he's running max. But if he's running max, then he's not that dangerous in terms of flight performance. The MiG-23 is still being outrun. I'm outrunning the Su-25 quite handily, and I'm hoping that the Su-25 will think, hey, I'm going to start ground pounding, I'll leave the MiG-23 to his thing, he's going to start shooting the Jaguar, it's only a Jaguar. Su-25 is going to the side, I'm going to fly off to the left, get as much separation as possible. And the second I notice that Su-25 to be at like 6 or 7 kilometers, and the MiG-23 really starts catching me, I will start sending it. Then I notice the Su-25 starts going for something else, he's gaining a lot of distance between us very quickly. Just waiting a little bit longer just to make sure it's not a feint like the Russians in real life right now. And this guy is gaining. And I'm waiting for the opportune time. I'm trying to observe what he's doing. He's trying to drop a little bit of throttle. I'm going to do the same thing. And he will overshoot me. The only issue is, what does he do once he overshoots, because the MiG-23 will have me energy trapped in no time. And this guy knows I have magics. I'm just trying to get behind him so I can sling a magic at him when he runs away. But he actually sends it for the dogfight, which is not what I wanted to happen, not what I expected. And I'm not able to get my guns on because I just missed some energy. If I had a little bit more lift maybe, or lost a little bit less speed, I would have gotten the shot there. Now I can pitch up for him. I'm basically stalled out, I have no control, and I just missed the shot. Very unlucky, skill issue, basically. And he starts diving out. And I'm hoping he's going to start running here, so I'm going to dump my flaps. I'm trying to get my nose on as quickly as possible. I'm not really worried about my energy here. I'm just trying to get my nose on anywhere near him, and then I can shoot a missile. The thing is, I get the lock with the bucket lock thing. And I know this Su-25 is probably coming back now, so I'm going to start looking around. Because I'm being stuck in a dogfight, and there he is. So now I'm going 220 on the top of my loop. The MiG-23 just going down, so that's beneficial for us. I'm going to start diving. And we have to reset. We have to redo this all over again. So I'm going to dive into the Su-25. Just deny him the shot. And all I'm going to be doing is worry about the Su-25. I also dove a little bit there. I'm trying to get underneath him, so if he dives on me, he might rip his wings off. He didn't. Would be the second Su-25 of the match. And I'm going to be running back towards my airfield. Not going to be trying to camp it. I'm not going to be trying to get within AA range. I'm simply going to fly towards my side of the map, because we only have 2 minutes of fuel left. And the Su-25 is probably pretty low on fuel too. And that's going to mean that he needs the RTB as well. And he breaks off. And that's a key moment right here. Right now, I can start dogfighting the MiG-23. But I'm not really worried, because he's going to catch me eventually anyway. And I already know that he will start throttle dropping me. So I'm running half afterburner currently. I'm trying to conserve as much fuel as possible. But I'm not really trying to do anything. I'm doing two things right here. I'm trying to get close to my airfield so I can start gliding towards it once we get there. And second, I'm trying to be unpredictable. So I dump throttle. I pull in front of him. I'm losing more speed than him. I'm still on low throttle. I'm going to be throttling up in a second here to not lose all my energy, because I'm still going to need to get a shot on. We're going to go vertical. Try to stay inside of his circle. And just as discussed in the defensive flying guide, being slower in this kind of fight is going to make him overshoot you eventually. Gonna pull in front of him. A little bit of a bait. He won't be able to get that shot. Now we reverse. He's in front of me. I'm gonna be gunning the afterburn. I'm only going 300. I have the flaps down. I'm gonna go straight up. If he goes anywhere, he is basically stuck in front of me. So we shoot him down. And now we have 8 seconds of fuel left. And the runway is right there. Are we going to make it? Well, I don't know. Are we? So, first things first, pull the flaps in. Secondly, select the magics. I still have both of them. So we are going to be selecting them. There we go. Jettison them. Just a little bit of extra weight. I'm trying to get rid of as much drag as possible. And we are going to be aiming right at the runway. Basically a little bit in the back of it, because my vector is pretty low. I'm dropping quite substantially, but I managed to pick up some speed. And this speed, I'm not going to be jerking the controls. I'm going to be very, very gentle. I'm not going to be using any flaps. I'm not going to be using anything. I am just going to be using my mouse and make these movements as smooth as absolutely possible. So I'm trying to gain a little bit of speed before I hit these trees. Just before we hit the trees, we are going to be pulling up. And we are still gliding. And because we're so light and so gentle on the controls, we will eventually cross over these trees. A little bit tight. Very much kind of lucky. I mean, sure, my plan was to get just within airfield range, but let's be honest, if that fight with the MiG-23 took 2 seconds longer, I probably wouldn't have made it. So now we drop the flaps to not crash into the runway, and we are going to be touching down. Some people wanted to see landings, and there we go. And a little bit of a tip, goes for basically every plane that can shoot on the runway. Don't start gun braking just yet. Right now it's not really worth it. The second that parachute snaps off and it doesn't do that much anymore, you can start shooting and you'll brake a little bit quicker. Now with this plane it doesn't really matter, because the parachute doesn't stop until like 30 kilometers an hour. But with some planes that rips off or like it folds in at like 80, use your ammo for that portion. It's going to make you stop drastically quicker. And I didn't want to blue ball you. So here's the last guys, the Su-25, and we are gonna try to do a little bit of a dogfight and see if I can get something done. A little bit of a fun fight to wrap up this 1v4, 1v3 or whatever it was. But you can already hear the song in the background. You already know exactly what is going to happen. He is so busy bombing that he gets bombed out of the air. Thank you all for watching and see you all in the next one.